नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Right from Sridham Vrindavan, the place of pastime of Lord Sri Krishna, the message of Sri Krishna, the transcendental message of Sri Krishna, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, is right from the place the founder Acharya of this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who has presented the message of Sri Krishna as Bhagavad Gita as it is, that has actually transformed the lives of the millions of people all over the world. And this month, December, is the appearance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So our ISKCON Vrindavan has planned to nourish you, all fortunate audience, with the richness and beauty of the transcendental message of Sri Krishna in the form of Bhagavad Gita. And today we are going to have an overview of second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is the subject matter of Gita summarized. And generally sometimes it is also called Sankhya Yoga, since every chapter of Bhagavad Gita has certain specific subject matter. Based on that, the transcendental teachers have given some name to the chapter. Originally there is no name to any chapter in Mahabharata, but the all chapters has given a name with a yoga connected to it. So yoga means connection with Krishna. So this yoga is Sankhya Yoga. Basically, before I start the chapter itself, Sankhya means analysis. So Sri Krishna is doing analysis of matter and spirit in this chapter. He is establishing the spirit soul as immortal and body as immortal. So body is a matter and soul is a spirit. That's what he is giving message. Then he is giving the message, even body is matter, but we have to use it for the pleasure of Krishna. And as a soul, eternally we have to serve Krishna. But now this second chapter is like a best teacher. Before he expands on the subject matter, he gives the synopsis in short. Why? To inspire the audience to ask question. to develop inquestness in the sincere audience. That is the most important qualification of a teacher, to inspire the student to ask question. So this is the second chapter in which Krishna has made Arjuna to ask question. By the verse 54, Arjuna is asking question, and then Krishna will elaborate on different subjects, and at the end in 18th chapter again Krishna will summarize everything. This is the qualification and quality of a best teacher, and Krishna is a Jagat Guru. Guru means teacher also. So he is giving something in synopsis, and then he is expanding it, and then he is again giving summary. So since the first chapter, which has first say almost 24 verses, is called the setting the scene or the scene of the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But after verse 25, which half verse is spoken by Krishna, there is no word there Sri Bhagavan Vacha, but half verse is spoken by Krishna, and that have changed the consciousness of Arjuna, and Arjuna was bewildered, and therefore that portion is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga, because Arjuna is now lamenting about his duty as a Kshatriya to fight or be merciful to the relatives. So at the end of the first chapter, Arjuna put his mighty bow Gandiv down and said, Krishna, I will not fight. So second chapter start, because Arjuna is not speaking now, Krishna is not speaking, so the Sanjay commentator is speaking the first verse. So second chapter start by the Sanjay Vacha tam tatha kripaya vishtam ashru purna kulekshanam vishidantam vidam vakyam vacha madhusudana. Sanjay is what Sanjay is doing is focusing the close view of Krishna or Arjuna, like very close view. He is saying what has happened to Arjuna. Kripaya avishtam tam tatha kripaya avishtam. Arjun at this time kripa means he has a soft heart for the opposite party. He was merciful to them. And how can you say he is merciful to them? Kripaya, he has ashru purna collection. He has the tears rolling on his cheek. And then the word is coming, Vishidantam idam vakyam. Vishidantam, and his mind was actually completely bewildered. At that time, when Sanjay said up till this shloka, and to whom Sanjay was speaking? Dhritarashtra, and he was smiling. He has no eyes, but he thought, oh, only I had a fear of Arjuna. Now he is completely mortified, he is crying. So our victory is definite. But Sanjay can see that this is a misconception of my master. So he said, Vacha Madhusudan. He said, now Madhusudan is going to speak. It means the one, Madhusudan, here means the one who has killed the demon Madhu. So now Arjuna has some doubts which are like demons, but now Madhusudan, when he will speak, he will smash all those doubts, and Arjuna will again stand and fight. So this is actually a very informative verse, and then the two verses are spoken by Krishna himself. Now these are the two verses Krishna is speaking as a friend to Arjuna, and he is shaking the rug. He is shaking the rug means making Arjuna really to shake whether what he has made decision, is it right or wrong. So Krishna is saying, Kutastva kashmalam idam vishme samupastitam anarya justam akarma kirti Arjuna. From where, Arjuna, all these dirty things are in your mind has come at this very, this word is there, samupastitam, Vishmaya, question, idam Vishmaya samavasatam. At this time when already conch shell are blown, at this time, this is not the time to say, speak like that. And for those who are Arya, Arya means civilized, follower of the Vedas, this type of thought will not give three things. Aswargyam, it will not give you heaven. Akirti karm, it will not give you any glory. And also, anarya jushtam aswarga karma kirt Arjuna. It doesn't befit Arya. It will not lead to the heaven, and it will not lead you to the glory either. And Krishna further says in the next verse, Klebyamma smagma parth naitatopadek chadram hridya bardorbalyam tyakto tishta bharata. This is importance in you, brave Kshatriya. From where it has come? It doesn't befit you. And Krishna is addressing here Parantapa. You should give chastisement to the enemies, and you have become coward. From where this cowardness, a weakness of your petty heart, the petty weakness of your heart has come? So by this Arjuna was thinking, here is my friend, and he's telling me I have made a wrong decision. But Arjuna thought, well, I am right in my own sense. So he is immediately arguing with Krishna, and his argument is very powerful. Arjuna is saying, Arjuna vacha katham bhishmam aham sankhya dronam cha madhusudam ishubhi pratyutasyami pujar arisudana. Now in this verse, Arjuna is saying, you are right. But how can I shoot arrow on Bhishma and Drona? They are worshipable for me. I must offer them flower. And then he is using two words actually to tease his friend Krishna. Your name is Madhusudan. You have killed the Madhu demon. You have not killed your grandfather. And you are asking me to kill my grandfather Bhishma? And you are Arisudan. You have killed your enemies, and you want to kill me, my teachers. So this is the argument of Arjuna. And then further, Arjuna is saying, what benefit we will get by killing them, and by killing the relative, the gain we will get will be stand with the blood of our relatives. Even if I get the sovereignty over the three worlds, I am not going to fight. And furthermore, we don't know who is going to win and who is going to lose. This is the one of the 5 reasons which Arjuna has put for not fighting. 4 are in the first chapter, and this 5th he was inconclusive. So Arjuna has still doubts. Then there comes the 7th verse, which is the turning point. And this is actually the Arjuna is submitting himself as a disciple to Krishna. Karpanya dosha upahat subhava prachami tvam dharam samudha chetaha yat sriya sunishtam burvitan me shishyasteham sadimam tvam parpanam. Arjuna is saying, and this karpanya, first word, which means actually miserly in the material way, but karpan is one who is not, who has taken the birth as a human being, as not actually delivering his soul, is a karpan. So Arjuna is saying, I am Kshatriya, I am warrior. My nature is to fight, but right now I have become miser, I am not using it. And this is a dosh, this is a fault on my nature, karpanya dosh. Upahat, so it has just arrived in. From my home I came with all preparation for fight, but now this thing has come in my mind. Actually, Krishna has put Arjuna in this situation to manifest Bhagavad Gita. So then he is saying, Karpanya dosh upahat, so prichhami tvam dharma samudha cheta. I am confused about dharma. And Bhagavad Gita is a dharma shastra also. So I am confused about my dharma, whether I should fight and kill the enemy, or I should be merciful and give up the kingdom and live on begging. I am confused about my duty. Yat sunishtam brvitan me. Now you give me the final decision, what is right for me. Krishna says, why should I tell you? He said, Sishyasteham, I am myself submitting at your feet as your disciple. Not only disciple, but Sadimam, please instruct me. This line is most important. Most of the gurus in a whole world, they accept disciple, but they never teach them and never clear their doubts. But Arjuna is asking, I am accepting you as a guru and I am becoming your disciple. My master, please instruct me. And Krishna is instructing 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And then he's asking, are your doubts completely now answered? If no, then I am ready to speak it again. There is actually a spiritual master. And then he's saying, Parpana. Parpana means, I am surrendering to you. And so Arjuna has now changed his relation from friendship, which is at equal. You can give some advice to your friend, but you cannot actually administer and discipline your friend. But Arjuna thought friendship won't work, so he accepted Krishna as a spiritual master and he submitted himself as a disciple. So this is a turning point in Bhagavad Gita. And for becoming disciple, we should be ready to hear and we should completely surrender, and that is the final conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman paritejamam ekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo moksha ishami ma sucha. So this sharanagati or the surrender is the last word of Bhagavad Gita. And how to surrender? Man mana bhav mad bhakto mad yaji mam narmaskru. These are the two verses of Bhagavad Gita which Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this whole Bhagavad Gita of 18th chapter is like a box for the jewelry. It is a jewelry box. The lower container of the box is a golden box, which are the first 6 chapters. Then the upper lid is the last 6 chapter. The real jewel is in the middle, which is the middle 6th chapter. But on the top of the jewel box, there is some 24 words or something is written what is inside, and that is man mana bhav mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru sarvadharman paritejamam ekam sharanam. So these are the words which are printed on the top to tell us what is the content inside, and that is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna said this, and then he said, well, Krishna, thank you very much. Now you accepting me as a disciple. I will do whatever you say, but I will not fight Govinda. And Krishna was smiling. You are accepting me as a spiritual master and you will do whatever I say, except you will not fight. That I want. So Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight, and he said, I will do anything, everything for you. Na yotasya Govinda, Govinda, I will not do it. Then Krishna is taking position of a spiritual master. So the first 10 verses of 2nd chapter, Arjuna has doubts. From verse number 11 to 30, Krishna is speaking the science of the soul. And Srila Prabhupada said, I am speaking to the whole world science of soul and science of love of God. I am not speaking any religion, Prabhupada said. If I would say my religion is better than your religion, then the people would have kicked me earlier. I am speaking science of soul and science of love of God. So Krishna is speaking science of soul in section of this second chapter from verse number 11 to 30. Now we will discuss a brief of this section, and then from verse 31 to 38 Krishna will speak about Swadharma. Swadharma means one's own occupation. And then from verse number 39 all through 53 or 52, Krishna will speak about Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga also include devotional service. And by 54, Arjuna will ask a question about one word which is the most important word in this second chapter, Sthita Pragya, means fixed intelligence. And from 54 till the last verse 72, there are symptoms of a person who is fixed, who has a fixed intelligence, called Sthita Pragya. In this way, second chapter have 4 sections. Arjuna's doubt, first 10 verses. From 11 to 30 is science of soul or knowledge of the soul. From 31 to 38 Swadharma at the level of Karma Kand. And then next is the Buddhi Yoga or Nishkama Karma Yoga or work in devotion. And the last section is Sthita Pragya. So now we are going to the science of soul. Krishna first, when he is taking the position of a spiritual master, he is asking this question. And this is most important verse number 11 where Krishna is speaking. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. This is very important. People ask, who is God? You go just look, open the Bhagavad Gita. First verse is spoken by Dhritarashtra Vacha. Second verse is spoken by Sanjaya Vacha. Then Arjuna Vacha. But when Krishna is speaking, it says Sri Bhagavan Vacha. So who is God? Is Dhritarashtra God? Sanjaya God? Arjuna? No. Krishna is God. So, but sometimes some powerful people are also called God. Like Gurudev is sometimes called Gurudeva Bhagavan. Brahma is called Bhagavan. Shankar is called Bhagavan. But they are never called Shri Bhagavan. Shri means Radharani. Shri means Lakshmi. So that only Supreme Lord is called Shri Bhagavan. Nobody else is called Shri Bhagavan. So who is speaking now? Shri Bhagavan is speaking. And what is Shri Bhagavan is speaking? This is called the Asochan Ansocastvam Pragyavadangsha Bhasasi Gatasuna Nanu Sochanti Pandita. This is called the Bijam. Bhagavad Gita's seed is this verse. This verse is the seed of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita Mala Mantrasya Bhagavan Vedvyas Rishi Anushtapa Chanda. What is Bhagavad Gita? It is the rosary Mala. Mala means rosary. Mantra Mala is a rosary of the mantras which will free the mind from all anxiety. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Mala Mantrasya. Oh, who is the Rishi? Vedvyasa Rishi. And which is actually the meter, the prominent meter of Bhagavad Gita, Anushtava Chanda. Who is actually the worshipable personality in Bhagavad Gita? Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Mala Mantrasya Bhagavan Vedvyas Rishi Anushtupa Chanda. Sri Krishna Aradhya Deva. Sri Krishna is worshipable deity as a Partha Sarthi in Bhagavad Gita. Asochanan Sochastvam Pragyavadansya Bhasasi Iti Bijam. This is the seed of Bhagavad Gita. All the mantra have a seed. Then there is a Kilaka, then there is a Shakti. Sarvadhaman Paritirmamekam Sharanam Ita Shakti. If you really reach to this stage, then you will be empowered and you will be enlightened. So there is this whole book is like a Mala mantra. Mala means like we chant our Mala, which means the beads. So this whole Bhagavad Gita is Mala mantra. So Krishna is saying, Asochanan Sochastvam Pragyavadang. You are appearing like a learned man and you are lamenting for something which should never be lamented. You are lamenting for the coat of a drowning man. Man is drowning and you think you will save the coat, that will do benefit to the man. No. You are crying for the coat of a drowning man. You don't know about actually the man who is wearing the coat. So this is asochanusochan pragyavadam gatasu na gatasu nanu sochanti pandita. Those who are learned, they are never bewildered about the change of the body. They focus on the eternal soul. So Krishna speak this verse first as a spiritual master and is disciplining Arjuna, that you think you are very learned, but basically you don't know actually the science of the soul. And then the next verse is also very important, which Krishna is speaking. Nattam evaham jatu nasam nattam neme janadhipaha nachayevah bhavishyamah sarve vayam atah param. This verse defeats this mayavad that everything is one. No. Krishna is saying, I was there, you were, now I am here, you are here, all the kings are here. They were in the past and they will also remain in the future. So the individual is always individual. It's not the individual soul merges in the super soul. So this verse is most important verse of Bhagavad Gita, and third verse is called actually the ABC of Bhagavad Gita. The beginning of Dehino asmin yatha dehe komaram yovanam jara tatha dhyantra prapti dhiras tatra mohyati. This is the ABC of Bhagavad Gita. Dehino asmin yatha de. In this body there is a owner of the body. Like there is a house, there is a owner of the house. There is a car, there is a owner of the car. Which is more important? Owner or car? Owner is important. House or car? A house or the owner? Owner is important. So the body is like a car or a body, there is a owner inside. So what is the proof of that? The proof is that body changes from the childhood to the adult and to the old age, and then it is finished. But the soul remains. When I was child, 5-year-old, I remember. But where is that body? I was young man of 25 years, 20 years. I remember that, but where is that body? It's gone. You cannot show your childhood body. It may be in a photograph, but you cannot show. But you are the same person, witness of that. It means you are different from the body. And those who know this philosophy, dhiras tatra na mohyate, they are called sober. They are called learned. They are sober. They are not bewildered. And then Arjuna is maybe thinking, Arjuna is thinking like, anyway, Krishna, I believe that they are soul, they are not body, but where can I get Bhisham once his body is finished? So I will be completely separated from Bhisham forever. Then Krishna is speaking some philosophical verse. Matra sprashastu konte situshana dukkha sukha dukkha agma payano anityastanta tikshva bharata. Krishna is giving this philosophy that like the cold weather is coming and the hot summer is coming and winter is coming. A summer is coming, we can have some fan, and winter is coming, we can have some heater. But this is something like our senses are feeling the cold and heat. Matra sprashtu konte situshana dukkha agma payano anityastan titikshva bharata. They are coming and going. Always no winter will remain, always no summer will remain. Therefore, tolerate. So this is most important in human life. We have to learn to tolerate. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us advice. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnona amanina manadena kirtanya sadari. Be tolerant more than a tree. And Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have to tolerate this. Like you tolerate the cold, you tolerate the heat, you tolerate the different weathers. So you tolerate all these things also in this world. And then Krishna is speaking about the nature of the soul. And in the nature of the soul, Krishna is saying, न जायते मृत्य मृयते वा कदाचन नायम भूत्वा भविता वा भूय अजो नित्यम शाश्वतो अयम प्राणम न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Soul is never born, soul never dies. It is the body which is born and which is going to die. So by now you remember three things from Bhagavad Gita. Birth and death is for the body. Coming and going is for the soul according to his action or karma. And avatar is of Supreme Lord out of his causeless mercy. So we are born, it means our body is born, not the soul is born. Soul is eternal. It is appearing in one body and then disappearing from that body and appearing in the next body. So Srila Prabhupada writes, we must always have a body, either material or spiritual. As long as we are in the material world, we have material body. And when we go back to Godhead, then we will have a spiritual body. So it's not that there is no time when we don't have a body. We can have a spiritual body or material body. So the material bodies are for conditioned souls, and they are conditioned by three modes of material nature. And the liberated soul have a transcendental body which is similar to the transcendental Vigraha of Sri Bhagavan Satchit Anand. That manifest, that is called Swarupa Siddhi. One who identify his own Swarupa, means his form in a relation to Supreme Lord. So this is the one of the most important verses in this section of science of the soul or knowledge of the soul. And next is most important verse which you can all relate all. Vasansi jiranani yatha vihaya navani granati naro prani tatha sarirani vihaya jiranani anyati sanyani navani dehi. Before I tell the meaning of this, I am asking you, my dear audience, since you are born, how many dresses you have changed? Nobody can count, right? So many dresses we have changed, and we are same. So similarly, this body is a dress, and Brahmaji has 8400 type of different dresses or bodies. Like you have different models of the cars. So for the soul there are different models of the bodies, and we have to pay price and get that body, and we have to pay price of the karma and get the body. If we pay the price for a demigod body, then we will become Indra. If we pay the price for a king's body, we will come as a king. If we pay the price for a laboring body, then we'll get a body of a donkey. What is the problem? So these are the different bodies which are like a dress. And sometime I ask this question to really sophisticated people: how many dresses you have in your wardrobe? It means if you have many, it means you still have a consciousness to get many bodies. Srila Prabhupada, when he left from Vrindavan to America, he had only 2 sets of dhotis, and sometime he has only 1 set. In the night he was washing and he is using gamcha, and next morning he was wearing dhot. So those who keep the less cloth, it means they have a less interest in having more bodies. But the whole world is now too much attached to the many dresses that they want to really keep. So sadhu is very simple. You keep the less dresses, it means your consciousness will be clear that we don't want to get more bodies again. So Vasansi Jaranani is the most important verse to really understand the difference between soul and body. And the next verse is also very important. And this is actually Nayanam Chandanti Shatrani Nayanam Dahati Pavak Nachainam Kledan Tapo Nashoshati Maruta. The soul is never cut by any weapon, is not dried by the air, is not burned by the fire. So nothing can kill the soul. So it means, Arjun, you are going to kill the body, not the soul, and therefore you know the soul is eternal and body is always changing. So this is the science of the soul. And then the further one more important verse we are reading. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityum janma dhurvam janma mritasya tasmat apariharya arthe natvam sochitum maharasi. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu. One who is born, death is certain. Dhruvam means definite. And dhruvam janma mritasya. One who is dhruvam janma mritasya. One who has, whose body is dead, he is going to take birth again. Therefore, tasmad, therefore, aparihare arthe natvam sochitam arasi. Therefore, for change of body, what something which is going to happen, you should not lament. You should not lament. Nat socham arasati. Srila Prabhupada writes, one who has taken his birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So what Krishna is telling, that we have some duty. And now what is the duty of Arjuna? There is a next section. We are going in a next section now. But last verse we are just reading of this section, Science of the Soul. Dehi nityam avidyoyam dehe sarvasya bharat tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam sochitum arasi. O descendant of Bharat, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Soul can never be slain. Therefore, you need not to grieve for any living entity. But Srila Prabhupada tells, this does not mean that you open the slaughterhouses and kill the living entities. No. We should not take the meaning otherwise. Therefore, the next section is most important. Krishna has spoken about the science of the soul, but now he is taking, you have got the body. Now your body has also some function. So now this next section we are starting, that's called Swadharma. This section will go from 31 to 38. So Swadharma means one's own occupational duty. Now we are two. Now by now we know we have a body and we are soul. So there is Swadharma for body and Swadharma for soul. The Swadharma of the soul will be described in the next section called bhakti-yoga. Swadharma of the body is now described in a section verse 31 to 38. That Swadharma of body is according to the body, whether according to Varna ashram. If it is a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or is a sannyasi, Vanprastha, Grastha or Brahmachari. So Swadharma is according to the body, and talents we have acquired because of our karma. So Arjun, you are Kshatriya. For you, this occasion of war is a opportunity to win this war and rule this empire, or give your body and go to the heaven. In both way you are always happy. Both ways you are not loser. And if you don't perform your prescribed duty of a Kshatriya, of a warrior, then you will be implicated in sins that you are avoiding your prescribed duty. Therefore, Arjuna, to perform your duty, don't consider loss or gain. No loss and gain are not in your hand. This is most important, actually, one verse further, and these are the some verses which even modern management people teach to the people. You don't worry about the loss and gain. You just work with all enthusiasm, and the results definitely are not in your hand. That is the third chapter, most important words. Karmaneva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan. You have a right to perform your action where the result is not in your hand. So Krishna is now encouraging Arjuna to perform his prescribed duty, and we all have prescribed duty for the body and for the soul. Everybody has given 24 hours by the God. 8 hours are for your body. Take rest, take sleep, take bath, change cloth, eat. This is for you. 8 hours are given you for maintenance of your body. Do some service. Maybe do job, maybe do business, maybe do agriculture, maybe take care of the cows. 8 hours are for soul. That nobody is actually utilizing, and that is a problem of modern civilization. They have no time management. This is most important. 8 hours for the science of the soul. Nobody has a time. In Krishna conscious movement, Srila Prabhupada has given us a so organized system that early morning, 5 hours, almost 5 hours, we are practicing science of soul and spending the time for the soul from Mangal Arati to Guru Puja, Darshan Arati, Guru Puja through Bhagavatam class. And then evening again, there is a Bhagavad Gita class. And then in the night before we sleep, we have 1 glass of milk for the body and have 1 chapter of Krishna book for the soul. So Krishna, Srila Prabhupada has given us a wonderful way of at least engaging 8 hours for the benefit or upliftment or enlightenment of the soul. 8 hours for the body that we have to serve. Do a render service to the Supreme Lord. That is a function of a body. Now we are going to the next section 3, and that next section 3 is called Buddhi Yoga. And in Buddhi Yoga, the most important verse is, now Sri Krishna is changing the topic. He is saying, up till this I have told you about Sankhya. Now I am speaking Buddhi Yoga. So Sankhya means analytical study. I have told about the soul and the body. Now I am going to speak about the way soul in his constitution function. It means Buddhi Yoga. Yoga means connecting with Krishna, and Buddhi means intelligence. So the intelligent people, how they connect with Krishna, and this is most important verse of this Buddhi Yoga. Neha bikaram na swasti na prativaya vidyate swalpamasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayata. These are actually this only the verse speak about pure devotional service, because whatever devotional activity we perform in this life, after death that activity will not be finished. Next life we will continue where we left. So this is only possible by devotion. Therefore this verse actually belongs to pure devotional service. Nehabhi karam nasvasti. Whatever activity you perform in Buddhi Yoga to please Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, that never diminishes. Na prativaya vidyate. There is no loss in that. Swalpamasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayata. If you practice a little of this Bhagavad Dharma or Buddhi Yoga or service in devotion, there is no loss, and you will be saved from greatest fear. Like Ajamil, simply chanting the name of the Narayan, was rescued from the Yamdutas. That was the greatest danger. Now the next verse is also very important verse, and this is the verse when Srila Prabhupada read the commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on this verse, and that become actually the conviction of Prabhupada to establish ISKCON. So this purport of this verse by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is the seed for manifestation of this beautiful ISKCON tree. Vivasayatmika buddhi eke kurunandana bahusake anantascha buddhyo avavisayinam. This verse is most important verse. Vivasayatmika buddhi, that intelligence which is focused at one point, and it means focused on the words of his spiritual master. The one who is focused on the order of the spiritual master as his life and soul. Kuru Nandana, you belong to a great dynasty of Kurus. If your intelligence is multi-branched, you will never reach to the Samadhi. Buddhi Bahusakha Anantasya Buddhyo Avasainam. You never be. So Srila Prabhupada took the word of his his spiritual master, His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, to preach in English language and to the English speaking people. So this verse is seed for the manifestation of the ISKCON, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Most important verse. We must have a fixed conviction and take the words of the spiritual master as a life and soul, and that will give definite success in our life, perfection of life, going back home, back to God. Now the second most important verse in this is very important. Bhogeshwara prasaktanam taya paharta chetasam vivasayatmika buddhi samadhao na vidyate. This verse says Bhog Aishwarya Prasaktanam. Bhog means enjoyment. Aishwarya means opulences. One who is Prasaktanam means completely attracted to or attached to enjoyment and opulences. Taya Paharta Chetsa, his consciousness is completely apaharta means abducted. His consciousness is completely corrupted, and he can never have fixed intelligence. He can never have vivasayatmika buddhi, and he will never be fixed in service of the Supreme Lord. So two things are most dangerous: Bhog, Aishwarya. And Srila Rupa Goswami says they are bhukti and mukti. Aishwarya is not actually mukti, but Aishwarya is with bhog. But the other thing is, those who want to merge in the Brahma, bhukti, mukti, pishachi, they are like a ghost. If anybody who is hunted by the ghost, he can never think right in a right direction. So this is most important verse, that one should be free from mentality of enjoyer. This attitude of enjoyment, bhoga, and kartapan, I am doer, I am enjoyer, I am proprietor. This is to compete with Krishna, and this is enviousness, and by this nobody can reach to the ultimate goal, that is to awaken the love of God. The next verse in this section is very important. Traivedya Vishya Tri Gunya Vishya Veda Nistrguno Bhavarjuna Nitya Satvisto Niryoga Kshem Atmavan. That's most important verse. Veda deals with three modes of material nature. There is a karma kand, there is a jnana kand, there is a upasana kand. They deal with the three modes of material nature. Arjuna, nirdvando, nitya sattvisto. You come about dualities, and don't worry who will maintain you, who will provide you. This is most important two words, niryoga kshema. And Krishna will tell in 9th chapter and elaborate on this verse, that I will take care of that. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janha paryupaste tesham nitya viyogtam yoga kshemam vaham. There are the word yoga kshemam vahamiya. So Krishna will take care of what you lack, and what he will protect what you have. Don't worry. Simply don't be entangled into the flowery language of the Vedas, that they will take to you to the heaven. Don't get entangled in that. And therefore Krishna will say, this is the another verse. Krishna is giving order through Krishna, is giving advice to Arjuna. Nistirguno bhav Arjun. Arjun, you come above the three modes of material nature. But Arjuna is not actually taking it seriously now. By 14th chapter, Arjuna will ask this question: how can one transcend three modes of nature? And then Krishna will answer, only by unalloyed devotional service one can cross three modes of material nature. And the next, if Arjuna says, well, Vedas are important, we have to follow Vedas. And Krishna will say, yavan artha udpane sarvatra samplodatake tavan sarveshu brahmanasya vijanatah. Many well, whatever the advantage we take from different well can be taken from one big pond of water. You know, in a villages there was a well for bathing, there is a well for drinking, and there was a well for the animals. So When there is a rain and there is a big body of the water, all function can be taken. So by devotional service, all the benefit of karma, of jnana or yoga are automatically achieved without any effort. So just practice buddhi yoga, which is for a devotee is devotional service, and for those who want to follow the path of knowledge, it is nishkam karma yoga, which will purify the inner senses, which is called antahkarana, and then they will be awakened to the knowledge. Now we are going to the next very important verse, which when Krishna says, Arjuna was alarmed. Shruti viprachana panate yada stasyati nischala samadhavachala buddhistada yogam avapasyasi. When your mind will no more be entangled into the flowery language of the Vedas, when you come beyond that, then you will understand really this situation. Srila Prabhupada tries translate, when your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remain fixed in trance. Trance means fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna. That means man mana bhav mad bhakt. Man mana means your mind is focused on Krishna. Self-realized, then you will have attained divine consciousness. Divine consciousness means tada yogam avapasyasi, achala buddhi. Now Arjuna is asking question. So Ved is a sort of forest, is like a forest in which you are lost, and then you can never reach to the destination. So Arjuna has a question. I am reading the Arjuna's question. This is the last section, Sthita Pragya's symptom of Sthita Pragya. So Arjuna's question I am reading. Arjuna says, Sthita Pragya ka bhasha samadhi stasya keshava sthita kim prabhasita kim asita vrjeta kima. The one whose intelligence is fixed, one whose consciousness is fixed. Sthita Pragya means one's Pragya is the highest level of intelligence. Not ordinary buddhi, buddhi yoga. And buddhi yoga is elaborated in a 10th chapter, in a 4 seed verses of Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. So buddhi yoga is actually sthit pragya means buddhi yoga, one who is fixed in buddhi yoga. So how he speak, how he walk, so what are his symptoms? That is Arjuna's question. What are the symptoms of person who has achieved the fixed consciousness? Most important section. In this section there are many verses, say from verse 54 till 72. So almost 18 verses are in this section. So how he work, the example is given of the tortoise. He can take his all limbs out, but when he sees there is a danger, he bring all the limbs inside and nobody can harm him. So the person who has a fixed consciousness or sthita pragya, he only uses the senses for maintenance of the body. When there is any temptation for enjoyment, he withdraws the senses. So the person who is, if I read the all verses, this will be very nice, but I think we have less time. Krishna is saying, Sri Bhagavan Vaj Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Parth Manogatan Atmaneva Atmana Tushtit Sthit Pragnastadujyate. Who is having a transcendental intelligence? O Parth, when a man given up all the varieties of the desire of sense gratification and mental concoction, his mind thus purified finds satisfaction in the self alone. So he is at the level of soul, and then his consciousness is transcendental. Krishna says further, Anudvegen manah sukhena vigat spraha vita raga bhaya krodha sthir dhira munir uchyate. His mind is not disturbed by any externals. So he has given up vita, he has given up rag, attachment to the world, bhaya, fear, and he has given up krodh, anger. he has given up a rag, attachment to the enjoyment. He is not fearful of losing his identity and merging in the Brahm, and he is not angry and frustrated when people present different philosophies, because he is fixed in Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada is a very wonderful purport on these three words, Raga, Bhaya and Krodha. Now we are going to the next verse. Yah sarvatra bhisneyas tatat prape subha shubham na vinananti na dveshti tasya pragna pratishtita. In this world we have sometime some happiness and sometimes some distress. Sometimes we have some auspicious thing, sometimes inauspicious. Right now all over the world there is a inauspicious in a form of corona, differently coming in a different mutation. But those who are transcendentally situated, they are not shaken by these changes, temporary changes of the world. Their consciousness is fixed on Krishna. Even Srila Prabhupada was once asked in 71 war, he was in Calcutta, that if the bomb is coming from an enemy, Prabhupada said, I think Krishna is coming in the form of bomb. I don't mind that, if Krishna so desire. So they are firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. Now in this section there is a one very important word, which is very important. Why they are not allured by temporary material world? The reason is given, Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehina raso varjam raso apyasya param drishtva nivartate. They are getting a higher taste. Param drishtva means they have seen the beauty of Shama Sundar Krishna. So they are not attracted by the liquid beauty of this material world. Srila Prabhupada has given the example of liquid beauty. I think most of you may be knowing it, and it is raining now, so we may just read one more verse. These are the verses which tells if we are not actually fixing our intelligence and consciousness on Krishna, then we will degrade. And what will degrade us? Dhyayato vishyan punsha krishna sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho upajayate krodhad bhayati sangmohat buddhi naso buddhi nasat pranashyati. So this is a degradation. If you see the sense object, then you will be attracted to that. And if anybody abstract that attraction and you are getting any hindrance, then you become angry. And this anger will bewilder you. And when you are bewildered, then your memory is lost that you belongs to Krishna and serve to Krishna, and you will fall down in this cycle of birth and death, and you will rot in this material world. Therefore, this is a degradation from simply seeing something, want to touch that, want to enjoy that, any hindrance, anger will come and this will follow and degradation will follow. These are the verses of degradation. And then last portion, this is more Raga Dvesha Vimuktanam Vishyan Indriyascharan Atma Vishyer Vishyatma Prasadam Adhigachyati. But who control their senses from the beginning, he will get the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Prasadam Adhigachyati. So ultimately Krishna will help us and we will be saved from this situation. Otherwise this mind will carry us like the boat is carried by the wind. So we should our focus, actually let me tell you one thing, this mind is a vibhuti of Krishna, opulence of Krishna. Anywhere it will never, you put it anywhere, it will never be peaceful. It can only be peaceful when it is engaged in thinking of Krishna. Therefore this is the verse 69 most important. What is the difference between the person who has a fixed intelligence or a fixed consciousness and the person who has no fixed conscience? Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanasya pashato muni. What is night for a saintly person is a day for an enjoyer. It means there is a difference of day and night between the self-realized soul and materially self-enjoying soul. Indriya Ramo Indriya Ramo means those who are enjoying the senses, and Atma Ramo, those who are enjoying the soul. There is a gulf of different, like a day and night. Now we are reading the one more verse. Aporyamanam achal prasthishtam samudrama pravashanti yadvat tadvat kaman pravashanti sarve sashantima panoti nakama kami. Like a ocean, many rivers are coming in. Ocean is never overflowing. And the sun in the summer evaporating lot of water, but ocean is never drying. So those people who has actually connected with the unlimited Sri Krishna, many desire can come, but they will never agitate them. And many things can be taken away from them, but they will never dry up. They are always fixed in Krishna consciousness. Now we are reading the one last verse of this chapter. Yeshate brahmi sthiti prartha nayanam prapya vimuyate sthitva syamanta kalepi brahma nirvanam richati. In this way somebody is fixed, somebody has realized and reached to the stage of Brahma Bhuta. Then at a last moment, even at a last moment he acquires that stage, he will go back home, back to Godhead. So the second chapter is a whole Gita summarized, and therefore the message for is that we are soul, body will never remain forever, and soul is eternal, and soul belongs to Krishna, and the body is given to us by Krishna according to our karma. Let us use this body in service of Krishna and have a vivasayatmika buddhi, take the shelter of a spiritual master bona fide, and practice devotional service and perfect your life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.